We have Ethan Long here. Go ahead and start with questions. Jeff, go ahead. Jeff, you're still muted.
Yeah, I can't hear him.
Sorry, can you just talk about what you're feeling coming in as a freshman in these sort of high leverage situations and then getting out of the eighth inning like that?
Yeah, coming in, freshman, sophomore, junior, whatever, I knew coming here, we expect to win, and we have real high goals for the ASU Sun Devils. So I knew that's where I fit in the best because losing is hands down the worst thing to me. So coming to a program that wants to win every game and we expect to win, I knew that was what they wanted me to come in the game to do, and I just had success tonight. So it was a good night.
Matt.
Hey, Ethan, y'all finally got a Friday win. How important was it to get this Friday win and start and set the tone for the rest of the weekend?
That's huge. Even though it's not conference games right now, they're still a Pac-12 team, and it sets a tone for the weekend. Not only the weekend, but even conference play later on in the year. Sets a tone. Let them know that we're coming to win every game, and getting our first Friday win is definitely going to be big. And hopefully the bats keep going the way they are, and we keep executing the little things like we plan on.
Jacob.
Hey, Ethan, do you feel a responsibility at all to kind of hold down the bullpen, even though you are a newcomer, but being in the role that you're in, do you feel like it's kind of on you to be that, force for the bullpen this year?
To be honest, I don't. We have so many good arms in this bullpen. We can go to anybody at any time. If they choose me, I'm ready to go, but I know that if they choose anybody else that's down in that bullpen, I'm confident in them to get the job done.
Alex.
Hey, Ethan, as the DH on this week, and then you come in to close that game, and then you come back in to close this game, just what are your thoughts on your role and how you're sort of being played so far?
So I've two-wayed my whole life. I've done hitting and pitching, but for me, whatever the coaches need me to do to win, I'm more than happy to do. I'll help this team any way that I can, whether it's with my bat or if it's with my arm, and I'm going to come out and give it 100%, whatever they ask me to do.
Raymond.
Hey, Ethan, with the injury news of the past week, how nice is it to kind of flush that and get back on track with a win and get moving forward again?
That's big. Getting two guys to go down, as big as guys as they are, Boyd and Coop. I mean, that's the worst feeling in the world, seeing both of them go down. But coming out after hearing that first game back and getting a big win with both of them there, all they want to do is watch us win, and all they want to do is help us win. And now that they can't, we still can. So it was huge to get that win tonight.
Jacob.
When did you find out that you were going to be in the closer, back end of the bullpen role? When did they kind of tell you about that?
Beginning of fall, I was really working late in the games because I would hit mainly the whole game until about the 9th, 8th inning, run down the bullpen, warm up. And I had a lot of success in the fall, but I mean, I'm ready to go in. If it was a start, relief, close, whatever they ask me to do, I'm ready to do.
How did it feel for you to, be asked of you to do that, to, for the coaches to say, hey, will you close or will you be in this high leverage situation for the bullpen? Because to be the new guy and to get that is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it fires me up. I mean, warming up in the pen, I get fired up anyway, whether I'm starting, coming in relief, or closing. But having them tell me to come in and save the games when they ask me to, I mean, there's no better feeling.
Jeff, do you have another one?
Just the idea that they had so many runners on base. Now you guys were in sort of difficult situation inning after inning for the team to succeed. When they left 13 guys on base, just what kind of message does that send to get through and win a game like that?
I mean, pitching wise, it's easy to pitch when you have probably the best defense in the country. If you throw strikes and they put the ball in play, I'm pretty confident that our defense will make a play and get the out. Hitting wise, our bats are still getting going. I mean, there's nothing you can ask of them, really. We're doing all the little things right. We're getting jobs done and doing what we need to do.
Alex.
Obviously, it wasn't, a full crowd tonight, but there were more people here than you had played in front of here. Did you notice a difference coming in the 8th inning?
To be honest, when I go out to pitch, I really don't see any fans or hear anything. I just block out everything. I've done that pretty much my whole life, whether I'm in the box or on the mound. But walking off the mound after the win, it was pretty nice to see all the fans stand up and cheering. That was about it.
Last question, Jacob.
Can you kind of walk us through the end of the 8th inning there and what was going through your head with the runners on and then to be able to get out of the situation?
Yeah, so coming in, I knew that we're up by 1, runner on first and third. Immediate thought was to get a ground ball. We had 1 out. Want to get a ground ball, turn double play. They ended up stealing, so then it was second and third. And then walked that guy. So then I had bases loaded, and I just kind of toned myself down, did a little breathing, and realized I just need to throw strikes. Like, my defense is so good behind me, no matter what they do, no matter what I do. If I throw strikes and they put the ball in play, we'll get the out and we'll win this game.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Guys, if you could help me out and just lower your hand after you've asked your question, because I only have one computer today. So Kai is coming up next. Questions for Kai? Jacob, go ahead.
Kai, can you kind of just talk about your guys as a whole, your ability to capitalize on other teams' errors? Because it's not the first game where you guys have done a good job when another team kind of seems to unravel by itself, that you guys capitalize on that. What's the mindset in those situations?
Yeah, definitely. I think it goes both ways. Not only their errors, but our pitchers getting us out of jams, our defense getting out of jams really, tends to spark plug us. And yeah, whenever, the other team's making errors, when it's, they had a good pitcher starting today. So whenever they make an error, you really got to capitalize, because that kid's pretty good. It's tough to barrel him up. So I'd say, that's something we're pretty good at, is, capitalizing when we need to.
Jake, go ahead.
Can you talk about what you've seen from Ethan Long and just, your perception of him and his role and what he's been able to do?
Yeah, I mean, he's a dog, man. He's always been a dog ever since we were little kids. And it's special when, a freshman comes in and can take on the role that he's taken on and do it without, flinching. That's pretty cool. He's going to be real special. He already is, but it's nothing surprising. The day he walked in here, he knew he belonged, and he's just proving it every day.
Anyone else for Kai? Raymond, go ahead.
It seemed like tonight the offense did a lot of little things right, taking extra bases, stuff like that. But also defensively, you hit the cutoff man in the 8th inning that could have prevented the run from scoring. As you were camped under that, did you expect him to try and score? He ended up bluffing.
Yeah, I mean, anytime, I knew the situation. It's a tying run there, and if we were in that spot, we'd probably be pretty aggressive too. So, I just got under it, knowing as long as I do my job, make a good throw to the plate, Nate will pick me up, Sam will pick me up, and everyone does their job. Everything goes well. So yeah, I just got under it. Lamp next to me was doing a great job of saying he's going, get 4. So that's huge. Lamp's one of the best communicators out in center. So yeah, we're ready for it.
Jeff.
This was a game that they had people on base all night long and you guys were getting out of difficulty. Did you feel like there was some point maybe when you got that double in the seventh, or some point where you kind of got control of this game? Because for a lot of the game, it felt like it was going to go the other way.
Yeah, I mean, you can't count us out. You know what I mean? We've had some games like this the last few weekends, and you know, it feels good to be able to get going. And I think it was the seventh, but you know, we never panic. We don't. You know, we get down against a good pitcher. We're not panic. We've scored runs before. We've hit against good pitchers before. So yeah, but definitely, you know, getting that lead late helps you, you know, feel like you're in control. And then, you know, our pen's pretty nasty. So once we get a lead late, it's tough to get us.
Anybody else? Cool. Thanks, guys.
Cool. Thank you guys.
All
Big man's here. Thank you guys.
right, we got Blake Pivarov here. Go ahead, RBI in the seventh. Go ahead and raise your hand for questions. Jacob, go ahead.
Hey, Blake, can you just kind of walk us through that situation, that at bat where you got the hit to give the team the lead?
Yeah, coming up, guy on third, they brought the infield in. Just based on the situation, I knew that they wanted a strikeout or a soft ground ball to keep the runner from scoring. So I was expecting a breaking ball. Sat on it early and was able to elevate it.
Raymond.
It seems like you were kind of the example of how the offense did a lot of little things right, kind of next man up mentality. You come in, get the RBI hit, then Nager comes in, pinch runs for you, and steals second base. Can you speak to that kind of team effort of doing the little things right tonight?
Yeah, you know, we have a lot of guys that have special talents. You know, guys with power, guys with speed, good defense guys, and Skip's been able to utilize those tools as much as possible to give us the best chance to win.
Alex.
Hey, Blake, 3 for 3 this year. Is there any specific ways you lock in as a pinch hitter, try to keep yourself warm throughout the game, anything like that?
Mostly it's just been staying engaged in the game, you know, being in the dugout, not losing hope that I'm going to come in, you know, later in the game. Just trying to anticipate that I'm going to come into the game at some point.
Anyone else? Jacob, go ahead.
Blake, can you kind of just talk about your perception of what Ethan Long has been able to do as a closer for you guys this year?
Yeah, he's come in some situations with guys on quite a bit, and he's brought a lot of energy on the mound, and I think it spreads through the whole field and just gets the whole team involved in the game just a little bit more, and that's been huge as far as just shutting down innings whenever there's guys on base or situations where they have a threat on base.
Anyone else? All right, thanks, Blake.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I'll be right back with Coach. All right, Coach, if you just want to start with an opening statement.
Found a way to win.
Jeff, go ahead.
When you have a game like this where, you know, you're in trouble all night long, but you're not giving into it, you know, you're getting out of jams, you're, you know, coming from behind, finding a way to take the lead. What kind of character building, if you want to put it that way, is it for your?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was growth. That's what I would call it. It was growth. I don't think it was the cleanest game on the mound for us, as witnessed by 8 walks, but we just talked to the team. The bad part of that was we put ourselves in a position where we really had to fight out of it. The good part of it was we fought out of it. So that's growth. But, you know, we clearly don't want to be in that kind of thing often because you want to make the team earn it. We didn't do a real good job of making them earn their base runners. We gave up too many free bases tonight. So, but at the end of the day, when you can do that and still find a way to win by playing good defense and making the plays when you need to, that shows progress. Guys didn't get caught up in the emotion of the game and let that dictate how they made the next pitch or the next play. They were able to kind of recenter and get the job done when they really needed to.
Alex.
Hey, coach, what can you say of Ethan's just continued poise in these high leverage situations?
Yeah, I mean, he's a tough dude. I mean, that's why he's there. We kind of, as you probably noticed, we went to the save inning in the 8th because our mindset was this is probably the save inning with the traffic. And either way, I will tell you, either way, whether we won or we lost, I was going to sleep better tonight and sleep comfortably tonight, knowing that he's the guy at the back end, win or lose. So tonight, you know, he got the job done. He's one of our most competitive individuals, regardless of age. And those are the guys you want on the back end. And he's got pretty good stuff too. So it's good to see him seize that closer role, because we've talked about that numerous times on these Zoom calls, is like, who's the closer? We're not sure yet. But I think we got a pretty good idea right now who fits that for us.
Jacob.
Tracy, just a little more on Ethan Long. When did you kind of realize that he had the mentality to potentially step into that closer role for a freshman and just to come in and be mature enough to have that? When did you start to see that from him?
Well, I mean, we watched him, you know, in the fall, and certainly inter squads leading up in the spring. But it's an interesting role. I mean, that's why those guys get paid a lot of money at the major league level to get those last 3 outs, because it's not just stuff. And you'll see some guys at the major league level that don't have the best stuff, but they got a great mentality. You know, I think he's a really, really good blend of that. But I would say really in practice, and if you recall going in this, we said the guys that really kind of fit that stuff, you know, in fall and Cam Denny, and we mentioned Ethan, you know, but I think the separator for him is just that mentality piece of it, that he's not going to back down from anything.
Matt.
Hey, Tracy, you finally got a win on Friday. How important is it to get in the win column early this weekend against a team that you're going to see later down the line?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, we haven't had a Friday win in a year, right? So it feels good to do that. But, you know, I don't put too much stock in the, you know, we see them down the road, because in baseball, you got to have, and really in anything, you got to have a short memory. So we're going to feel good about this win against Utah for a little bit, and we got to refocus and get ready for tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon, first pitch. Because if you sit back and start thinking, you know, you got everything figured out or life's good, this game has a way of being really, really cruel to you. So we're just happy to get out of here start the weekend on a good note, but we're taking nothing for granted, and we'll refocus and get ready for tomorrow.
Brandon.
In the 4th inning, Haas goes first to third on a single to left, and Jump's able to take that extra base, follow that up with 2 productive at-bats to tie the game. Can you speak to the small ball execution in that inning?
Well, you know, we should probably do, and I'm as guilty as anybody, so I'm not faulting you, but we ought to drop our little small ball verbiage, because what I'd call it is honestly, it's good baseball. You know, it's like the guys, and again, I'm not trying to be a smart aleck to you, but even I've heard that. Like, I think it's just your observation was great. Like, I think we're running the bases well. We're not right now. We don't have a lot of maturity on the offensive side of of the team, so we have to do those little things well. We have to run the bases well. We have to take the next base when they throw to the wrong base and those types of things. So I'm going to move forward and not call it small ball. I'm going to call it good baseball. As long as we keep playing good baseball, you're going to put yourself in a chance to win, and you pitch it and play defense. And, you know, particularly on a Friday night when we get into conference play, games are going to be like this. So I was really proud of our execution. I thought Seth Nager did a fantastic job as well, coming in there, sitting the entire game, knowing that his role right now is pinch running and defense, and coming in and doing a great job of his role. You know, I think his was the second run and going first to third on the errant throw by the catcher, and then making a really nice play late in the ball game. So if we continue to do that, even though we don't have maybe some of the big offensive numbers of the guys we've had in the past, we're still going to have a chance to win every baseball game.
Alex.
What were your general thoughts on how Tyler looked tonight?
You know, I liked his competitiveness, you know, and we talk all the time, like, you're not going to have your best stuff or the best results or whatever all the time, but as long as you're competing, I don't have an issue with that. Now, just from a, statistical or whatever, he didn't have a good, to me, he didn't have a good night because I go back to the tactical piece of that. The pitch count was too high for a Friday night. We got to be able to get a little bit deeper in the game, particularly opening up a weekend, simply because, you want to keep that bullpen intact. So I loved his competitiveness. I really liked how he competed on the mound, but he wasn't particularly sharp, in my opinion.
Jacob.
You mentioned the pitch count and then having to pull him after 4 innings tonight. What does that do for you guys in a weekend where you are with your first weekend without Boyd and you don't have Cooper and you're going to have to kind of dip into the bullpen a little more potentially on Sunday? How much of a challenge is that when the start on Friday night goes the way it did?
Well, I mean, it adds another layer. I mean, but that goes back to, we're going to have some guys step up anyway. So, from a managerial standpoint, or, JK, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but it forces our hand a little bit because we're going to have to spell some of these guys that pitched, tonight. We used a lot of our bullpen tonight. So it's a wonderful opportunity for some new guys to get out there and go grab some roles, because we're going to have 2 or 3 guys come along if we're going to have the ability to close that gap and losing those innings on the weekend with Cooper and Boyd. But we've said we feel like we've got them. It's just the circumstances of the game haven't made it real easy for us to put them in. But now, this probably forces our hand a little bit tomorrow, because we're going to have to rest some of these guys that we've been using a lot.
Yeah.
You talked about winning on Friday for the first time in a year. Well, it's also the first time you've had fans.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? And do you think it had any impact just in encouraging your team? And then also, could you comment on them not trying to score there on that fly ball in the 8th inning? Did that surprise you at all that they didn't go ahead and try to score?
Well, the question on the fans, I mean, I think it's nice when you look out there and you see people in the seats, and I think guys like playing in front of people. I mean, I would say most people do. Volume wise, I think we can turn it up a little bit. We can still try to aspire to get a little noise in the stadium. And then the other part with the Kai, I wish they would have sent him, because he would have been out by a long way. But that's one of those, I've been a third base coach and I've done that. It's a tough call on that shallow fly ball. And, I do believe if they send him there, I think he's probably out by 10 feet, but I'm glad they didn't send him. So.
Alex.
Nate hit the ball hard a few times tonight, and the hits haven't really been falling earlier on. But what has been your assessment of how he's looked early in the season and how he looked tonight?
Yeah, slow start for him, clearly the first couple weekends, but we've said he's going to be a key guy for us. We need to have his production, his power, and maturity I say maturity, redshirt freshman maturity in the middle of the lineup. But Nate's a good hitter. He had a good fall for us. He had a good spring coming in, slow start. We just wanted him to take a step back and watch the game a little bit, slow it down, stop pressing. I think he's done a really good job of putting in the work with Coach Early, Mike Early, over the last few weeks of just, every time I'm in the cage, I see those guys working, and he wants to get out of this thing. So it's good to see him put together some really good at-bats, because we're going to need that dude as we advance through the rest of the season.
Kai kind of commented on this a couple minutes ago, just about the team's ability to capitalize on mistakes. And it's happened a couple times in the last few games where your opponent has done something and then you guys kind of help them unravel a little bit by just being persistent at the plate. What does that say about the offense right now? And especially even when they might be struggling to put runs on the board sometimes, but to be able to consistently do that, how important?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're scratching the surface on that, because we're still giving away, and it's just guys' lack of experience. We're still giving away a lot of at-bats, swinging at pitches we shouldn't be swinging at. But again, the aggressive nature in it, I appreciate some of that, but it's just these guys need to get at-bats and understand and grow as hitters and understand how people are trying to get you out. But as you said, it doesn't always have to be with the stick in your hand. You can still do it by making good decisions on the bases, when to take the extra base and put pressure on the defense, which we've done. And fortunately, while we're not scoring a bunch of runs, our pitching has done a good job of holding the opposition down and giving us a chance to win, even though it's limited runs. So I don't want to say that, that's probably our formula for the rest of the season. It may be, it may not. But if you pitch and play defense and you can stick in those timely hits, I think we're going to mature as the season goes offensively. But, it certainly is a learning process, as we're all witnessing right now.
Thanks, good.
All right. Thanks. See you tomorrow.
Isn't small